What's going on, friends and family? So today I wanted to talk about 5 upcoming farming slash building slash village settlement style games that also are cooperative. So normally we talk about online games on this channel, and it kind of rarely this genre intersects with that. So you do have like Stardew Valley and Animal Crossing, but very rarely do we see true full like online focused farming style games, and it's really cool. I found 5 that I think I really want to champion, and we'll see how they turn out. I'm sure there's going to be way more announced sooner than later because this genre is exploding and really emerging from a time of society being filled with so much anxiety. And yeah, we got work, we have the stresses of, you know, city living and all that, but no, sometimes we just want to kick back and farm it up a little bit, you know, build a little village with our friends, and that's what it's all about. That's what we're trying to do here, friends and family, and hopefully in these games we can also do that too. If you want to play with me, join my Discord, links in the description, all the good stuff. Like, subscribe, keep that hype alive. But here we go into my top 5 co-op farming and building games. Okay, so you know what? I'm gonna admit I don't know much about farming, so it's gonna be a little difficult to talk about a true literal farming simulator, which is up and coming Farming Simulator 22. Now, it's supposed to be available this November. I don't know, we'll see how things get delayed or not, but up and coming, there's always gonna be a new one every new year, so yeah, just look forward to this game. Also look forward to the esport events. Farming Simulator apparently is actually a full-blown esport team versus team farming competition, but this game does feature online cooperative play so that you can just farm it up with your friends. And this is literally, it's in the name, you can see the gameplay simulating farming. I think it's a really good spot to start the list because, yeah, we already know of the series. Not too new, but we do have a new addition to it. And also, it's pretty self-explanatory. But if you've never played a simulator-style game like this, like some driving-style games, there's even like a new bus simulator coming up. These games are incredibly therapeutic, they're incredibly calming, and actually way more in-depth than you might actually think. And maybe a good way to get into a hobby, and maybe understand how certain professions can actually be done, and the depth of them as well. But no, definitely, for therapy, late-night, chill gaming kind of thing, especially you can play with friends. Farming Simulator 22 is probably going to continue the momentum of the series and push it into, I think, really a mainstream spotlight for people who never thought they would enjoy a game like this. But if you aren't strictly into simulator style games, we actually have a bunch of fantastic games coming up here on the list. Coming in at number 4 here is Lightyear Frontier, which actually just got me, sold me with the name. I'm all about poetry, let's get it. But also the idea that it's like sci-fi, it's an alien planet, and because I have a little bit of schema playing somewhat of a similar game, which is going to be Scrap Mechanic, which is really cool. Definitely, if you like Scrap Mechanic and a few other engineering style survival games that really mostly focus on building, then I think Lightyear Frontier is going to just completely hyper-focus on that concept. Okay, so the main gimmick, just straight out of the gate, guys, it's farming simulator on an alien planet, right, with mechs. So instead of having the usual machinery that we have in real life in that simulation aspect, it's going to be a little bit more sci-fi with literal freaking mechs. If you're looking for a game that is from the ground up to be farming with your friends, then this is probably going to be one of the first games that you actually are going to try out. Now, it's going to launch in early access coming next year or late this year, but I think overall this is a game that has a freaking ton of potential, especially just with the simple gimmick, you know, relatively simple concept. I think that a lot of people will have a lot of fun with this, find it very therapeutic and relaxing. At the same time, there might be some true adventure here, and it could actually scale up to be quite epic. So we'll see. This might be a game that we come back to every weekend, every season or so. You know, I'm just thinking the horizons are looking pretty wide here for Lightyear Frontier. Okay, halfway on the list, please stay with me for this one because I think it's actually way more unique than it sounds, is a game called Everdale. This is actually from Supercell, who has done Clash Royale, a game that I've had a lot of fun with streaming, and then obviously Clash of Clans, but mostly this game is like Clash of Clans if it wasn't combat focused, if it was really just about building the town, building the little city, but also a complete focus on building it with friends, and not even just friends, but also even almost to an MMO space. It's building it with random people, different tribes, different villages, and all coming together. Almost kind of like a cooperative civilization game. If you guys ever played a 4X, it's got some weird ideas that I know some people are like, oh, it's Care Bear or Farmville Clash of Clans. Maybe, and that alone would have been fun and good. Sure, I think some of you guys do play those kind of games for the social and building aspect, but this Everdale is going a step above of that. So there are going to be direct mechanics and environmental aspects that dynamic, events that are created so that people have to work together, that have to trade together. There's going to be professions and common buildings and common resources that you have to trade and work together to have and share. And I think that in the end, Everdale is a great excuse just to have something on your phone that allows you to kind of poke at your friends every once in a while. Really, it could be as simple as that. But in grandiose terms, I think that actually this could be huge. I mean, I don't know if you guys know how big Clash of Clans was, and that was actually a pretty social game, and Farmville, but what if you were to combine those two aspects and then actually do it right? The best and not the worst of both the worlds. I think some people, because it's a mobile game and, it's from Supercell, that we are kind of looking at it like, oh man, the monetization is going to be pay to win or whatever, but I really actually I'm very hopeful and positive about Everdale, and I think it's a game that a lot of people want. There are a ton of games that are literal farming simulator games, but there aren't too many games that are straight up social focused village building games, and that's why we're going to be talking about them on this list up and coming, but also specifically Everdale just got announced, and I think that a lot of people are going to see more games just like this coming out too. And literally, actually, a lot of these games have just been announced, or they're just coming out. Oh man, we got My Time at Sandrock. I literally just found out about this, which finally completed this list for the top 5. Basically, you're going to take the role of a fledgling builder to Sandrock, and it's up to you and your trusty toolset to gather resources, construct machines, and fix up your workshop into a well-oiled production machine. Save the town from the jaws of economic ruin, as well as a few other unexpected complications. So focusedly, you're going to be working on a workshop, right? But also you're going to be diving dungeons, and there's entire, hundreds apparently of side quests where you're actually going to be interacting with debatably deep NPCs, but there is dialogue trees and all that stuff. So if you guys know, this is from the developers of My Time at Portia, and I think a lot of people really enjoyed that game and the quality of it, and so this game's going to have action, combat, open world. It's kind of almost anime, and it really seems like a merger of a lot of different genres, which is something that we have seen before, and we will talk about more as well throughout this video. But this one, I think, is one that is less cheese and less just kind of prototypal and experimental, and I think they actually know what they're doing. So if you're looking for a game that has a wealth of features and a wealth of different styles of gameplay that does focus on building up a workshop and all that good stuff, and that feeling of progression, then this is going to be the game for you. Now, yes, it will be actually online co-op. Thank you for asking. Duh, that's the list. But it's going to have online co-op as well as LAN co-op. That's kind of bonus points, and full controller support, so easy does. It's actually really cool when games allow for, split screen and co-op like that. Super rare nowadays, but anyways, yep, you do that here with My Time at Sandrock. And from what I can tell and what they actually do say on the Steam page is that it's My Time at Portia, but in a new biome, a little bit extra features, a little bit more, and also you can play it co-op. So cool. Okay, before we get to our number 1, I do have an honorable mention, and it's honorable because you'll see. Anyways, Palworld is freaking weird. It's got everything that all these other games have, where it's it's building. This one's actually factory focused. Interestingly enough, it incorporates these creatures that look very Pokemon aesthetic. And it's open world, action adventure. Okay. It's like Pokemon with guns. It's actually really brutal. It's very experimental, obviously, prototypal. It's a complete ridiculous merger of a bunch of different genres. Yeah, Pocket Pair, the developers, made Craftopia, and if you don't know, Craftopia was just let's take every buzzword genre, throw it together, and it's not a good game, and yet because it's so ridiculous, it kind of was fun and good, and people had, a time with it. Anyways, this developer kind of left that game a little buggy, a little unfinished, a little awkward. It was weird. It was I don't know, Breath of the Wild with tanks and shit, anime waifus. So, Palworld, not exactly the safe space that we're looking for, but technically could be in the list. Anyways, we'll see how hopeful it is here. It is an open world survival crafting game that you can play co-op, so, as well as LAN. That's also bonus points, cool. But basically, what they say is, what is the game about? It says Palworld is a game about living a slow life with mysterious creatures or pals, throwing yourself into life and death battles with poachers. It's seriously everything we talked about, except cranked up to 11, to the point where I don't know if it will be a slow life with cute little fun creatures. It's Pokemon with guns and slavery, and I don't know. Number 1, finally, for a sincere contender, the absolute peak, I think, the future of gaming almost to an extent, at least for the MMO genre, is going to be a game called Palia. This is really exciting because MMOs went to sort of a sporty, sort of sandboxy, hardcore sort of concepts and really minimalized the social impacts. And now we just want to play games with each other. It's trending on my channel. It's trending on the internet. It's just something that we want to do. We want to connect and be interconnected. And Palia is going to be the MMO that does that. It is actually, they don't even talk about combat really. They don't really talk about raids or anything like that or guild features. It's seriously just a game that is cozy. It's cute. It's about building villages together with other people. So think Everdale, which might be like a hyper minimalized version of this game. Palia is going to be the immersive village simulator of sorts, like almost like a community builder. Exactly. So it's not just a farming simulator. It's not just a building simulator. It's not just engineering or any one thing. It's not just an RPG. It is kind of all of these immersive elements put together that focuses on everyone working together as a community to build and create a village. And I am so all about that. Yeah. So you want to know what this game's trying to promote? Basically gardening, fishing, cooking, things like that. That's what they throw out there first. And then there's going to be a bunch of fun characters that apparently there's going to be like friendships and romances, maybe some lore really kind of strewn throughout there. And it's actually supposed to be an evolving story over time. So this is almost like a games as a service, like a proper MMO. It's not just a game that you plop down and play with your friends. It's a game that you live in all together with a bunch of different people. And they totally focus on the social aspect. Absolutely. So they say, yeah, the game's going to be fun alone if you want to. Sure, you can just do your own thing, but together is really where the game comes to life. And no matter how progressed you are in the game, you're always going to be able to play with your friends, jump in, jump out in some way. Sorry, we need to know more details, but just know that it's going to have this massive or MMO, I want to say, sort of feel, whether it turns out to be a true one or not. The fact that they're trying to focus on that community aspect is all that I really care about. It's a cozy world made for me. I love the characters, the art design, everything about this just seems friendly, fun, and kind of refreshing, actually, like a step back from what we've seen with the trends of other MMOs and really just other games. You know, we had like a whole generation of just browns and grittiness and dark and blood and gore, and you know what? Anxiety at all-time high, loneliness at all-time high. We really need games that are as colorful and cozy as Palia. So that's my list, friends and family. If you have any that you want to add or that have been added since I did this video, please let us know in the comments below. We are all in this together. We're making this community, we're making this village all together. But these are my farming and building style co-op games that I think all of us can actually have a lot of fun with. And hopefully I could do more list videos like this. So if you want to, champion me, like, subscribe, share the videos or whatever, and let's get everyone into these games. Let's get everyone, together to have some fun. But that's it, outro out. Much love, friends and family. I will see you in the next one.